y'all, welcome back to my shop. Today we're going to do a super simple spindle project, great for beginners, opportunity to practice tool control and make something. We're going to make a couple of door stops, projects made out of one piece of stock. Let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do on this project is mount a spindle blank that's square, approximately 1.5 inches to 2 inches, about 9 inches to 13 inches long. This is a piece of Bradford pear. It should be dry and it should be reasonably square. For you beginners and still trying to figure out where to get wood, let me just show you. When you get a tree blank, a section of log, and this is a pith, you're going to cut away from the pith with your chainsaw or have someone else do it, so you don't get cracking along the edge of your bowl blank. I'm sorry, I can't write upside down. Your bowl blank. You cut out this piece in the middle, and you throw that away, and then you turn this into a couple of spindle blanks on each side. And every time you get a section of log that you turn into a couple of bowl blanks, you might want to trim off the end there, the bark. You know, then you save these spindle blanks and put them aside and let them dry, and you'll always have plenty of stock for projects like this, boxes and beads and coves practice, and any number of other things. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to mark off a section about 2 inches to 2 3/4 inches on each side. We're going 2 inches by 2 inches, and then go ahead, using a speed square makes this a little faster. Go ahead and mark these on all sides. You can use any type of lumber. You can even use 2x4s ripped to 1.5 inch lengths. And 1.5, I'd say they'd be on the shorter end, make them about 9 inches long. But if you're using thicker wood, something more like 2 inches, then probably 13 inches. This is about 1 3/4 by about 10 1/4. So, first thing we're going to do, we're not going to round the middle. Don't get carried away, because we're going to put that against the bandsaw, and I'll show you that in a little while. First thing we're going to do is take a pommel cut. The pommel is that part of a spindle that's square, typically used on table legs and sometimes chair legs. So the easiest way to do that is with a skew. So the first thing I'd urge you to do is go ahead and sharpen your skew before you get started. I've already done that. And we're going to go ahead and take a pommel cut on each side. Turn your wood stock, make sure it's going to clear your tool rest. And you can turn this at a fairly high speed since it's very safe. So we're just going to come in on each side, slice in toward the center, and I want to cut all the way down through on all sides. So let's go back at it. Okay, so we've got it cut below the surface on all 4 sides because we're going to bring this down. We can use a spindle roughing gouge, you can use a bowl gouge, anything to start rounding off the 2 sides. You can see it's upside down, but I marked the species of wood and the date that I cut it, Bradford pear, January 2015, so I can get some idea how old it is. Go ahead and start round the 2 sides off. Okay, we got the 2 sides round, almost round. We're going to go a little bit more on both those. I'll go ahead and use the skew for that. Unsupported cut. I engaged the wood before I had this braced. I should have told you at the outset I was going to get a catch. I just wasn't sure when I was going to be able to demonstrate that for you. I want to come in and cut that a little deeper, smooth that out a little bit. Now the object is to try to cut this smooth as possible so you don't need to use sandpaper. These are in effect furniture parts. They're going to be on the floor, so they don't have to be perfect. You can come up with any kind of design you want. This first 1/4 inch or so on each side is going to be a waist. Go ahead and take that down. And using a 1/2 inch spindle gouge, I'm going to come up with a pretty simple design here. Come in here straight on, make a cove. And then we're going to make a bead here. Detail 3/8 inch detail spindle gouge, so I can come in and go a little bit deeper here. And then we're going to do just a little bit of a fillet here. And I think I like that. And this one, I'm going to do something similar. So you don't have to do the same thing. Be creative, each side could be different. Now, while we have it here, I'm going to look for the two flattest sides to be the top and the bottom. That's going to be this side and this side. And go ahead and put a ruler on it and mark that. So we're going to come out from the edge just a little bit. Actually, what I like to do is really come down from the edge just a little bit so I can get a flatter slope. I'm only going to make that one cut, so I need to only mark that one side. You can see why this has got to be flat for us to run against the bandsaw. So let's go ahead and take it off, take it over to the bandsaw. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is cut off these two waste ends. And I'm going to have the assistance of a miter gauge to keep this straight. You could do this on a table saw. I prefer the bandsaw. Put on some ear protection. Turn on the shop vac. I'm just going to guide this along that line. Now let's take it over to the belt sander. We'll just hit these four sides with a belt sander and we'll be done. First thing I'm going to do is clean up the belt a little bit with this crate. The front edge you don't want too thin, so you might want to just kind of come in there and you can cut that with a saw if it's easier for you. But now all it takes is just hit the belt sander on all four sides. Okay, they say sharpen your tools when they need sharpening. I got to get rid of that belt, get a new belt. But you see the, you see the approach. And we got to go back and take a little bit more off, but there you are. Put whatever finish you want on it or no finish. You could put polyurethane, you could put stain on it, or in my case, my favorite, Minwax antique oil on almost everything. If you like this video, please subscribe.